you got any final thoughts for the show?
Make jukes, not war.
Can we edit that out?
Nope. I had my game face on.
I think we can.
Hello and welcome to yet another video. Now this week I am doing yet another custom. One you can already see I've cracked open and made a start on, as this was meant to be completed almost a year ago, and I pushed it back and kept pushing it back until I sort of forgot about it and it sat on the counter, and I never really touched it because I didn't really know what to do. But today I know what I want to do, and that is to make it a derby racer. That means that it's going to be sort of camoed up and destroyed, dented, bashed, scratched, everything. It's going to have different coloured body parts, it's going to have bash bars, hopefully, and numerous other things. So I'm quite excited to get into that and do it first. But first, I would like to say, if you notice any of the quality in the video has changed, that's because I'm using my new phone, therefore having a brand new camera. So please, if you have any questions or sort of queries on it, and if I can improve on it, then please comment down below that, because I would really like to know. Without that, thank you very much for watching, and let's get into it properly. Now, as you can see, I've already roughed up the paintwork on this thing. There's still a reasonable amount of clear, and including some glue from when I tried to attach some bash balls the last time I put it this. Now this was a challenge from our great friend Hewittz, the customizer, and this camera looks fantastic on my screen. It was a sort of challenge from Hewittz to say if I could customize something like this and make it look better, as he hated the pink. Just got to get rid of all this glue remnants. But so I set off. I was going to sand it down, paint it red, and then I ran out of paint. So I was thinking, well, what should I do now then? And I decided to say I'm going to do a derby racer, and that's where I really sort of put my mind to it. I really like the game Wreckfest, so I thought, well, I'll have a go at Wreckfest, and I never really entertained with the idea more than just saying I'll give it a go, and that's it. That's where I left it. I sort of lost interest, didn't really want to do it anymore, and I didn't think it would work. So I'm back at it today to hopefully make it better. I've already cracked up one of the windshields. I'm going to do the front, cut out the sides, and that should leave me with a good base to do something with the body reasonably cool. Whether I'll be scuffing up the paint a bit more, doing mismatched body panels and stuff like that. I just want to try and make it look somewhat cool, so it's not just sitting on my desk again collecting dust. So let's get into it properly. Thank you very much to Hewitt for challenging me. I hope this hasn't been too long. So anyway, I should probably get into it. Now what I'm doing now is I'm going to put the base back on the body to see whereabouts I can really scuff up the bumper and cut it up, as I don't really want to be cutting up something and then being left with a massive hole gouged into the side of it that looks straight in the body. Now I've got to be aware that this will be there as well, so yes, there is some elements of protection for the sides, but in terms of the front, I don't really want to be left with a big gaping hole looking straight through. So I'm going to mark that out, and I'm going to have a little bit of a cut with my razor blade. Please, anyone attempting anything like this, be careful. Always, when you're not using the blade, put it back in the holder. Of course, you're meant to be using an actual sort of blade thing, but I'm just using this for quickness, easiness, and the fact that this is what I use. Please use proper safety. I should be wearing gloves, but because I am used to it, I do not, as I find it's better without gloves on for me. But everyone else, please wear a glove, because it's so much more safe. You'll avoid cutting yourself, you avoid any sort of injuries, because once I was customizing a few years ago, or at least trying to, and I ended up cutting my arm, you can see there, quite badly. It's not really coming out on camera, but it's really bad in person. So please, anyone doing this, be careful. I'm used to using these blades, but if you're not using them, please use extra care when using them. Go to every great length, wear safety glasses if you need to, just do everything to protect yourself. Now that is the glass finished, or almost finished, as I need to trim off a few little bit of edges with a razor blade, but it is finished nonetheless. Now I still need to wait for the glue to fully dry, as I decided to glue it in and not sort of put it in, as I didn't really have any other choice, as I decided instead of using the normal method, I would cut the glass in half. As you can see there, it's not quite matched, that's deliberate. Cut the side sections out using these big pliers. I should use smaller ones, but they did the job well. and sort of just scuff up the glass with the blade. Now this was reasonably dangerous to the fingers, but the fingers survived. And in fact, let's remove some of this excess glue from before, because it's absolutely everywhere. But I'm reasonably happy with that. I think it looks very nice. Of course, I don't have to worry about scratches, as I'm going to be soon mucking it up with a bit of muddy looking paint. So nevertheless, let's get into it and continue with a roll cage, which could be difficult. Okay, so end of day one. We are losing light rather quickly, as you can see from the camera there. And so, with a wave from Jerry over there, we'll continue this on tomorrow. Today's been a relatively conductive day. Off camera, I used a Dremel and I split the interior. Wasn't the greatest way of doing it, but it was one of the fastest. From the parts of the interior that I actually want, so I want a fully stripped interior. The roll bar, as you can see, the roll bar will be tidied up once it's fully dried, but I've made it out of soldering iron, so it's very, very weak and delicate, so I'm trying to layer it up with glue to try and get some strength in it. I'll paint it black and tide it up very, very well. The rest of the interior will possibly be painted black, but maybe left grey, as it doesn't really matter that much. And I still have the rest of the cast to dint up and to sort of put some bull bars on, which I'm going to use the same stuff out of. I have one of the bumpers sitting there ready to be put on. So that's the first day. Let's have a look at what tomorrow brings, or when I next go into this project. Should be before too long, when I next get a decent bout of weather to work on it. Possibly tomorrow, probably the day after. Who knows? Now, we won't be needing any microfiber cloths anytime soon, as the Skyline is indeed finished, or at least for now, until I decide to add more and finish the roll cage and a few bits and pieces like that. But for what it is, I'm quite happy with it. Of course, it's meant to be a demo derby car, so it isn't, well, it's far from perfect, and I can definitely learn from what I've experienced doing this custom. So I'll tilt the camera down and we'll talk a little bit about it and show off some of the pictures and sort of how it was made in the first place. Now, there isn't perfect, it will never be perfect. It's my first and I'm very happy with it. So I'm going to point you around reasons why. For instance, the bonnet is orange, the doors are both a deep purple, sort of a royal colour. Dirt splatters all the way up the sides, and including this little exhaust here and the roll cage inside, the cracked windows and much more. How I did them and why I did them like that. Now, this was a challenge set by my great friend Hewittz Hot Wheels, or James, so thank you very much for setting me this challenge. It's definitely been an experience I will never forget, and yes, it still rolls. The wheels are pretty much how they were. I was going to make them dirty, but I realised for now they're okay how they are, until I maybe want to wheel something to some off-road ones, or even just leave them like this, as I'm in general very happy with how it's come out so far. It's as much as I was going to get from it for now. Of course, the front end is detailed in black. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Just in general, I'm really happy with it. Now, the doors were mismatched as I thought, left pink. They were a little bit off. Of course, they were completely scraped down with sandpaper, leaving almost none of the stock paint left. The finish was completely scraped down to the point where it looked like it was faded and destroyed, as of course in here. It does not sound clear because it isn't. It's got all the clear coat removed. The roll cage, as we'll look at in a little bit, is painted in an aluminium colour. The doors, I'll show you that in a second, the actual paint code as they come up in the pictures later on. Just in general, I'm really happy with the way it's come out. It's not that bad. Of course, the bottom, it's a bit crude. I cut off the old exhaust, as of course you can see there. I made an exit route, as it would normally, to this one that just pops up straight next to the fender there, how it should do. Now, this isn't a GTR, this is a GTX Skyline Hakusuka, I think you call it. I call them a Hakusuka, as I'm weird, but I just really like the way it's come out. I'll crack it open and show you the interior in just a sec. I decided to blacken out the interior in terms of the cast in full black, as I thought it sort of distracted you from the fact that the interior was still pigmented and painted separately. But the major work was really done off camera. Now I'll have about a week's working this thing off camera, pretty much just in the interior alone. Casting in the paint, this took around 3 days to complete, to a point where I was somewhat happy with it. But mainly it was spent deciding what I wanted to do with it. Now at the start I was like, I'm not sure if I want to fully repaint it and leave it as sort of a barn find effect, or if I want to sort of roll cage it and make it look just a little bit better, or more suited as a demo derby car. And I decided to do the second route, which was do a demo derby car as if you'd see in Wreckfest. So I set out. I was just originally going to Dremel the seats out, just leaving the stock one there, but I decided I'd go a step further and fully remove them by cutting them out. So there was back seats that were about here, and they are completely gone. They are in the bin right now. The only things really left is the center console, as you can see down here with the gear stick, the dashboard, the steering wheel, and the actual driver's seat. The rest is gone, including the door panel, which is another reason why I painted the interior black. Just in general, I'm quite reasonably happy with it. I would like it to be a bit more clean in places. You can see the glue is quite clumpy. I need to get a new bits of those. But as you can see, the roll cage is generally reasonably nicely put together. I'm quite happy with it. It looks quite nice. It's very strongly put together. I just used some soldering iron, which is just a little bit of wire that you use to solder things together. And of course you can see it's reasonably strong, as the paint and glue has held it together quite nicely. As of course you can see as well, the engine is nicely there, but you can't see it. I was going to Dremel out the bonnet, which I might do in the future to reveal that, but I'm not going to as of yet. I'm going to get a little bit of experience of cutting out things in terms of interior and exterior and metalwork with the Dremel a little bit more, and just get a little bit more use, and just in general sort of feeling of how it works. But as a first, I'm quite happy with it, and Hewittz, I hope you're proud, as this is really a customer made on your behalf. I'm not sure what you want me to do with it. I will definitely be displaying it for now. If you want it to send it to you, I'll see what I can do. But as of right now, I'm really happy with it. It looks nice, and it looks exactly how I wanted it to. It looks wrecked, destroyed, and exactly how it should be. Touring around tracks around America, getting destroyed, dented, bashed, and winning races. So without further ado, I inspire any of you to try customs out if you want to. Worst case scenario, you can turn your cast into this, which is a destroyed demo derby racer. I mean, either way, you can still salvage parts. The cast is always usable. Just be experimentative. Always try out how you want to do it. Do it in multiple ways, whatever you want to try out, whether it be a clean race car or restoration, as I've done in the past with 2 Ferraris, or even just a full, all-out, not even resemblant of its original cast like this is, sort of custom where you've got bumpers everywhere in a Mad Max style like JDC, Jay's Diecast Creations does. So let's take a few pictures. They won't really be on the car park. The first few will be, but for the most part they won't be. I'll also show you some of the photos of how I made this thing. So please, thank you very much everyone for watching. Stay safe, have fun, and of course, stay juke'ing.